am I trapped? Am I about to be murdered? Is he gonna break out his homemade computer and like hack into my body with it? I don't know. Today I'm gonna be telling you one of my favorite stories of all time. It never gets old. So let's get right into it. I was 15, I was a sophomore in high school, and I was in my chemistry class. I didn't particularly like chemistry, but I had an A in the class. I participated a lot. So we got this assignment about covalent bonds and a different kind of bond, which I forget. I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna do this project alone because I didn't really know any friends in the class. But these two guys who sat near me approached me and were like, hey, do you wanna join our group? And I was like, oh, sure. So I joined the group. And I figured that the only reason that they were asking me was because they knew that I was good in the class. And I think that's the case for one of the guys, because that guy just totally checked out. He didn't do any of the work. I had to end up doing almost all of it. He like colored a picture and that was it. But the other guy was really into it. So we had some time to work on the project in class and we did that and everything was fine. But we kind of ran out of time to finish the project, so we were gonna have to work on it outside of class time. So our school had a really nice library, and I was like, why don't we just go to the library after school and we can finish the project there? And he was very, like, firmly no. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. So then I was like, okay, do you want to go to, like, this coffee shop near school? He's like, no, I think we should go to my house. I'm like, okay, where do you live? He lived like a 15-minute drive away from our school, and we were 15. Neither of us could drive. I was like, okay, well, I live a 5-minute walk from school. Do you want to go to my house if it's so important that we go to a house to you? And he was like, no, we're going to my house. My mom will pick us up. And that's what's gonna happen. Right there, I was kind of like, red flag. And the other guy who didn't do any work was of course like, oh, I'm busy, I can't go. So I wasn't that freaked out yet. I thought that it was strange, but I was like, okay, maybe he just really likes his house. Maybe he has like cool art supplies there or something. So we waited after school for his mom to pick us up. She was like 20 minutes late. So I just had to like sit there and make small talk, and it was very awkward small talk. Like, I remember I just like pulled up Facebook on my phone. I was like, oh, it's this person's birthday. And he was like, oh, I don't like her. And I was like, great, this is going great. But I was like, okay, whatever, we're just gonna get the project done. It's gonna be done with. Also, side note, this happened on my half birthday, which I know isn't that important to most people, but in my family, we take half birthdays very seriously. It's like a mini birthday party. Well, I really wanted to go home and celebrate my half birthday. So finally his mom arrived. And as soon as I got in the car, things were awkward. We get in, it's like dead quiet. We drive for like 5 minutes. Finally she's like, so, you guys have chemistry together? It was creepy. Like, there was something going on. The way that she said chemistry wasn't just like, oh, so you guys have chemistry together. She was like, chemistry? And she like made some pointed eye contact with me in the rearview mirror. And I was like, yeah. And then she asked, so do you have a boyfriend? And I was like, I don't know you. I've never met you. I don't even know your son. Like, we had never spoken before this project. It was very strange. And so I was like, no. So obviously it seemed like she was trying to set me up with her son, but he seemed quite awkward too. So I was like, okay, maybe she's just a weird mom. That was basically all that we talked about. We finally arrived at his house, and the very first thing his mom says when she opens the front door to let us in is, by the way, if you need to go to the bathroom, go upstairs because the boys really messed up the bathroom downstairs. And I just, like, what did they do to that bathroom? Did they, like, TP the whole place? Did they pee on the floors? I really just want to know what was going on in that bathroom. So there was another kid in the house, and it was the guy's little brother. I don't know how young he was. He was maybe like, I don't know, 7. And the mom was like, okay, stay out of their way. So we went down to his room, which was in the basement. This room smelled terrible. It smelled like mold. It smelled like unwashed clothes. It was, So I asked, I was like, you know, is there like a desk upstairs that we can use? Can we like, you know, use like your kitchen table? He's like, no. We have to be in here. He closes the door and I'm just in there with him. It is very sketchy. And then I'm like, okay, so let's get started on the project. He's like, oh, no, there's something that I want to show you. I'm like, what? Like, this man has never talked to me before, and now suddenly he's like showing me things. So he whips out this like old computer and he goes, oh, I like made this computer? I don't even know if that's true. He's like, I'm gonna turn it on and I'm gonna show you how this computer works. And I was like, okay, but project. So I'm like working on the project. This whole time he's like messing on this computer, so he's doing no work, which whatever. I was gonna do the project on my own anyway. He was doing his computer. Finally he's like, it's up. And then he's like, never mind, it crashed. And I was like, okay. He finally sat down, he did some work. Honestly, we didn't even need to meet for this project because the work took like 15 minutes. And then I was ready to go. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm gonna call my mom and have her pick me up. And he was like, no. He takes my phone and he like left it in plain sight, but he really just took my phone and put it like on the bed. Then he goes, so who are you taking to the school dance? And I was like, no one. I'm probably just gonna go with my friends. And he was like, well, I'm not going with anyone either, which was awkward. I'm like, okay, are you trying to ask me to the dance? But he never did. Like, he never got to that point. He just left it there. Maybe he wanted me to ask him to the dance. I don't know. Then he goes, let me ask you a question. Didn't you go out with my friend like a few months ago? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, did you like him? And I was like, sure. And he was like, well, what did you think about him? How was the date? He asked, do you still like him? So it was just very cringy. And I was like, why are you asking me this? Like, I thought maybe he was getting intel for the friend to see if I still liked him. But it really seemed like he was just getting some like personal scoop, as if he was like interested. And it wasn't like I didn't want to be friends with this guy, but it was like he never even tried to be friends with me, right? Like, it was just completely out of the blue. He had never talked to me. I never even like caught him looking at me in class. This was just like out of nowhere, bam, craziness. Finally I'm like, okay, can I leave? He's like, wait. Have you ever seen Star Wars? Like, this was unprecedented. There was nothing that would have led him to like think about Star Wars in our conversation. He just goes, have you seen Star Wars? And I go, no. He was like, you need to watch Star Wars. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're probably right. I'll watch it sometime. And he was like, no, you need to watch Star Wars with me. And it wasn't like, would you like to watch Star Wars with me? It was, you need to watch Star Wars with me. And I was like, do I need that? I need food, water, shelter, love. Do I need to watch Star Wars? Probably not. So I said, oh, yeah, you know, like, not really wanting to do it because I didn't know him at all. And he was like, no, right now. And I said, oh, well, it's my half birthday. I really want to go home. And he was like, no, you need to watch Star Wars with me. And I was like, him, no, I don't. And I was very shy at this point, so I was just kind of like, no, that's okay. He just kept going. So it became this thing where he literally had my phone out of my reach, and I didn't want to be like rude and grab for it. He goes, you need to watch Star Wars with me. 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 You need to watch Star Wars. Truly, I'm not exaggerating that. It was just him saying you need to watch Star Wars with me over and over and over again. Like a little 5-year-old throwing a tantrum. In the classroom, he was very quiet and reserved, and then just out of nowhere, he's screaming at me to watch Star Wars with him. Like, at this point, do you even want someone who isn't willing to watch something with you? I like said no like 3 times. I was already like, I need to leave. I need my mom to come pick me up. I think my mom's waiting for me. Can I call her? So finally, I'm like, no, I really need to go home. I grab my phone. I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, can you pick me up? I put it down. As soon as I put it down, he takes the phone again. Like, I already called her, but he took the phone again and he like put it back. And I was like, okay. So at that point, I'm like ready to leave the room. My mom is on her way. I'm ready to like go upstairs and wait outside. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just walk down the path and I'll meet my mom there. I say that to him and he goes, no. You can wait right here in my room. He didn't have any good reason for it. It was just, you need to stay here. Finally, I am like walking towards the door. He is physically blocking me with his body. I was like, am I trapped? Am I about to be murdered? Is he gonna break out his homemade computer and like hack into my body with it? I don't know. I'm sure there's like some noise going on. So his little brother knocks on the door and tries to open it to see if he can like get in and like see what's up. This guy locks the door. Now I kind of get that, you know, like if your little sibling's trying to get in and you lock the door. But to me, as I was trying to like make my getaway, having the door be locked, it was locked from the inside. So if I could reach the lock, I could unlock it. But having the door be locked was terrifying. I really don't know what was going on. Was he like thinking that he was pulling all the moves on me? I don't know. Finally, I'm like, I need to go. The mom comes down, says, honey, I think needs to go now. He's like, okay. Opens the door. I say, okay, bye, see you at school tomorrow. I like speed walk up those stairs. I'm like, thank you to the mom. I walk outside. I walk as far as I can and I meet my mom in the car as she's coming and she's like, honey, why are you so far from the house? And I'm like, Mom, you don't even know what I have been through today. Honestly, no hate to this guy because I really think that he didn't know what to do and I never spoke to him again. And thank you because this was a great story and one of the most entertaining things that ever happened to me. So kind of glad that it happened because I like to think back on it and be like, I was locked in a basement. Cool.